Well, as you know, I'm not exactly a fan of medicating a patient unless it can't be avoided. All right, well, I'm with you then. Thanks for getting back to me, Nick. Bye.
Here.
You want me to give this to Frank for you?
Since you warned me not to go near him. Though why I'm writing a note to someone who's just around the corner.
Because there's people who would be upset there if you showed up.
I confessed in open court that I'd made mistakes. But so have you, Kevin. You started your life over again. Why can't I? When I was in trouble, I turned to you, thinking you, of all people, would understand. You've been as sick as I have, but you've got better. Why can't I?
Because when I needed help, I worked with doctors who challenged me, not just flattered my weaknesses.
And these same doctors never told you it was wrong to bully people?
I'm just being honest, Chris. Now, whether or not she chooses to accept that is up to her.
So what was he giving you grief about this time?
I wanted to find out information about Neil. And Kevin told me to stay away, and it escalated from there.
Well, I think I have what you're looking for.
They found a match. Christina.
Yeah.
Are Scott and Lucy going ahead with the extraction?
They're deciding right now.
Why does this feel like a wonderful dream and a nightmare all at the same time?
Well, we knew this could happen. Anybody could be a match.
Right, but it's Christina. It's our little girl, and this just somehow points out all the things we don't know about her, you know?
We know that she's a terrific little girl. That's all we need to know right now.
Yeah, but, oh, pal, I keep telling you, you know, what if she got sick? We don't know her medical history. We don't even know who her parents are.
Well, come on. Now, first things first. Are we going to let her be the donor?
Okay. I know Frank and Courtney are probably wondering why we're taking even a minute to decide, and the extraction, it is the right thing to do for Neil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so little Christina has to go under anesthesia, but I mean, it's not that dangerous or serious, right? And she had come into our lives for a reason. Do you realize she's our little miracle, and now she can be the same for somebody else. She can give the gift of life to Neil. But it's just, she's so small and...
Hi, folks.
Oh, I guess you're here. You heard, right? You heard the news?
Yeah, we found a donor for Neil.
I didn't hear that. That's fantastic. Who is it?
Well, you're going to find this very hard to believe because we're having a heck of a time believing this. But, Doc, it's our Christina.
I'd say what are the odds, but I think I know the answer. Are you okay with this?
Well, we're having a few problems.
Like, is Neil and Christina, for that matter, strong enough for a transplant?
Well, I don't think Neil really knows just how bad he is.
Well, that's partly why he stopped eating.
Hey.
Hi, Serena. You shake Victor?
No.
I'm tasting my ice cream and bringing up the rear.
Yes, I told them we're not allowed to eat up here.
Because you wouldn't let me finish it downstairs.
Well, that's because I knew something was going on with Neil. Now I'm going to hear about it.
Well, that's no flies on you today there, Serena.
Okay, just tell me now.
Okay. Well, you know the news that Karen said she had earlier?
We found a donor for Neil.
Who?
Well, she's about this tall, drools a lot, smiles a lot, but loves strained peas.
Christina?
Yeah.
My little sister is the match. I knew it. Neil is gonna live.
Well, Pumpkinhead, you know, it's a little more complicated than that.
I don't get it.
Serena, this may be a little tough for you to understand.
No, it's not. If Christina's got the same type as Neil, she can save his life. Isn't that why they had the blood drive in the first place?
Well, finding a match was the first step.
What's next?
Well, you see, Neil's got to get better before they can actually do the transplant.
That's so stupid. I mean, how can he he get better if he doesn't have the transplant?
Well, you know the medicine that Neil's been taking?
Chemical therapy?
No, it's chemotherapy. And see, what that does is it attacks the bad cells and kills them. But it also can have an effect on the good cells, which helps Neil get better.
So, it's really just making him sicker?
Well, at first, but, like the last time, once Neil gets better, then they can do the bone marrow, and then it'll start fighting all of the, the bad stuff in there.
Oh, so Christina could save his life? But then again, Neil might die first.
That's possible.
Possible, but not a sure thing. And you're the one who taught me never make a bet on a sure thing, because when the long shot comes in...
That's right, you win big like we did the track that time.
I hope Neil wins big.
Courtney? Listen, Scott and I have gone on over and over the whole donor thing.
Look, I know it's not fair asking you to put Christina through such a painful procedure.
But Neil's in pain all the time now, isn't he?
He really doesn't have a choice.
But you've had a lot of choices, haven't you? I mean, trying to decide the right thing, I know must be very hard to make sure you're making the right choice and maybe hurt him more than you intended. That must be so hard.
Yeah, and all the time I'm wishing I could be sure I was making the right choice.
But we want to make the right choice. We want to do the right thing. And so I think if Neil knew that Christina was lying in there, if Neil knew he could help her in some way, I know he'd want to give her that wonderful gift. And I'm sure he'd say, like, I hope and pray Christina would say, then let's do it. Let's do it right away. Look, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that's what Scott and I have decided. We want to go ahead with this. Let's do it right away, as soon as possible.
Thank you. Really, thank you. Thank you.
I know how difficult it is for you to be apart from Christina. Well, we would have been there in time if Kevin hadn't held up my release. Damn him. Kevin keeps screwing up my life.
Julie, if you're not happy with where your life is, don't blame me.
Would you just go away? I mean, you're like some dark cloud that keeps following me.
Now you sound paranoid.
Well, she doesn't to me. What's it going to take to convince you that I'm not crazy?
I thought my opinion didn't matter to you.
Well, people in Port Charles seem to respect your opinion.
You ruined your reputation all by yourself.
Then why don't you magnanimously give her the chance to rebuild it?
Because when I see someone in trouble, I can't just walk away. I'll keep my eye on Julie as long as I feel I need to.
Nurse Hartman, 4737. Nurse Donna Hartman, 4737.
Listen, Julie, I know you're upset.
Why wouldn't I be? Didn't you realize they'd find a match when Christina was tested?
I had a pretty good hunch. She is Neil's half-sister.
And then what did you think would happen?
Christina donates her bone marrow, maybe saves Neil's life.
Just like that.
If you're worried that this procedure is too risky, I promise you I'll get the best anesthesiologist on staff.
Chris, and what happens when everybody puts two and two together and figures out that Frank is her father?
That's not gonna happen. Come here. everybody is way too happy to start second-guessing a miracle.
But this match wasn't pulled out of a worldwide registry. It was discovered right here. And if I were Scott Lucy, I would be curious as hell.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Let's go along with your worst-case scenario. Someone actually says, hey, do you think that stud Frank Scanlon could actually be the father of both these kids?
And suddenly my name pops up.
So? I mean, that's my point. This is all going to come out sooner or later.
But it has got to be later. Everybody still runs the other way when I walk by.
Can we help it if they're unenlightened?
Come on, if these same unenlightened people discover that I am Christina's mother before I've proven myself, what are my chances of ever getting her back?
Some of the stuff Eric was saying, I'm gonna try and use.
Yeah, like what?
Like, don't get the game, get routine. Never know what's coming your way.
You gotta stay alert, right?
Yeah. That, plus a natural ability, which I think I've got. What do you think?
Oh, I've seen you in action. And there's no doubt about it.
I swear, between the two of us, we're practically supporting Brazil.
There you are. I've been looking for you.
Something happened?
Yeah, they said okay. Neil can have his transplant.
Oh, all right.
Fantastic. Why don't we go tell him then?
Wait a minute.
Why?
Well, Karen wants to run more tests, remember?
Okay, then while she's doing that...
We're not saying anything to Neil until we know the whole picture.
Oh, come on, Frank. I just want to give him some hope.
It's not your call, Joe.
Before they say I do.
I know Lindsay's secret.
Before they live happily ever after.
I have every right to tell Bo the truth.
There's something Bo should know.
She's not gonna get away with it.
Is Nora going to tell him?
There's not gonna be any wedding.
One Life to Live. ABC Daytime.
I don't want to pull rank here.
Bull, you're saying I'm the doctor, I decide what to do.
When it's in my patient's best interest, yes.
He isn't just your patient, he's our son.
And he has been disappointed so many times thinking that we'd found some sort of miracle cure.
But we have. We found a donor. And if the transplant works...
We don't even know if Neil can survive a transplant.
He can't survive without it,
We'll
Courtney.
wait for the tests to tell us that.
And then we'll let him know about Christina being a match.
Okay, fine. Fine. But if you ask me, this is not about protecting Neil. This is about you being afraid to get your hopes up.
What, we disagree with you, so now we're cowards?
Listen, I don't know what you're fighting about out here, but could you keep it down?
Neil didn't hear it.
No, he didn't, but since he's feeling a little upbeat today, could you call a truce? A voice depending on all of you.
Dr. Reitzel, 3288. Dr. James Reitzel.
Kevin. Hey, any news about a donor for Neil?
Some, but an awful lot still needs to be worked out. See ya.
Hey, did he tell you anything?
Kidding? It's typical Kevin. He couldn't be more vague.
It must be amusing for him to keep us in the dark.
I don't want to sound fair or anything, but he had no way of knowing I wanted information about Christina.
I guess he wouldn't tell you the truth anyway. You care about me, and that makes you the enemy. I don't know why Kevin hates me, but I am sick of it, and I'm sick of him.
Maggie, have you seen that? Oh, never mind. I have been arguing back and forth with Frank and Courtney, trying to get through their heads that Neil has to have this transplant, and he needs it right now.
Oh, well, they're afraid.
Well, then we have to reassure them, Karen, and that would be a lot easier if you would back me up.
Joe, you need to look at the latest test results. Neil's white cell count is up, and there's a reduction in the number of blasts.
So what, you think the Xylostein's starting to work?
I'm hoping.
Karen, these numbers are really, really small.
Well, so far.
Yeah, but I need better numbers than this.
Well,
if we're
maybe
gonna try...
we'll get them if we wait.
You want to hold off on the transplant?
Until Neil's in remission.
No chance. We cannot afford to do that. I say we move on this right now.
Joe, it's not your decision, or mine. I'm going to give Frank and Courtney the options, and then they have to decide.